Planet Dolan.
From killing a neighbor's dog to pretending to be a girl on social media, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from Reddit about our darkest secrets. I'm Pecan, and today I'll be your narrator. This story was submitted by Beneath the Landslide. Back in high school, Derek was going through a hard time and wanted some attention, so he decided to create a girlfriend. He told his friends that she lived nearby and didn't have any accounts on social media. Since his friends believed him, Derek continued making up stuff about her. One night, while at a party, he got drunk and told his friends that his girlfriend was pregnant but had a miscarriage. They comforted him about it, even though they didn't know what to say. A few months later, Derek told them that she killed herself because of the miscarriage. Nobody has ever called him out on his lies, and it's something he will never admit to anyone. This story was submitted by Kylo Rune. When they were kids, Paprika and her brother had to go through their parents' divorce. It ended up being really hard on her brother. One day, Paprika's brother accidentally threw a ball into their neighbor's garden. He told Paprika to get it, but she refused. Furious, her brother ran inside and grabbed a knife. He went back outside and tried to stab her. Paprika ran inside and locked herself in the bathroom. She waited until her father got home, but when he did, she didn't tell him what happened. She didn't want to snitch on her brother as she knew he was going through a hard time. Paprika still believes that he would have killed her if she didn't run away. This story was submitted by throwawaysword 1997. Hellbent pretends to be a girl on social media. Ever since he was a freshman in high school, he has made various accounts saying that he's a girl and flirts with men. It always makes him feel good to think that he's a hot girl who people want to sleep with, even though he's perfectly happy with being a guy. Hellbent has even had to abandon some of his accounts because the flirting was beginning to get a little too serious for his liking. Despite getting off on it, there are times where he feels guilty about it. He wishes that pretending to be a girl online and deceiving people didn't make him feel so good, but he just can't help himself. This story was submitted by Somesugar and Spice. Froggy has had an eating disorder since she was 14 and has never told anyone about it. She constantly goes through the cycle of eating a lot of food before purging, only to eat too much again. She will sometimes fast for so long that she loses consciousness. There are even days where she'll dehydrate herself and not drink anything until late in the afternoon. The worst part is that she loves her eating disorder and doesn't want to get better, even though there are times when she feels terrified of it whenever she reads about girls who starve themselves to death. This story was submitted by Bigovs. Gergak went to a strip club one night with a bunch of people he didn't know very well. Girls would flirt with him and give him lap dances. The more he drank, the more turned on he was. One girl came up to him and told him that $50 would get him in the back with her. So Gergak followed her to the back room, where she instantly took off his pants and threw a condom on him before having sex. Afterwards, she asked him for a higher amount of money. The thing was, it was a few days before payday and Gergak was broke. He mentioned that to her, and the next thing he knew, he was in a chair in the main room with two bouncers on either side of him. The manager was facing him, threatening to break his arms and have him thrown in jail if Gergak didn't give him $300. Out of all the people he knew, Gergak called his boss, who surprisingly showed up and paid them the money. The events of that night are things that very few people know, and Gergak never went to a strip club again. This story was submitted by The Gray Owl 7. Every day while walking home from school, Wolfgang was chased by his neighbor's dog. He would always see it waiting for him, growling. Sometimes it would even pretend to go back into the neighbor's house and wouldn't come out until Wolfgang was near the house. After he told his parents complained to the neighbors. Not only did his neighbors not listen, but Wolfgang overheard them laughing. One of them even said, "It's not my fault your son is a sissy." At that point, he got so pissed that he came up with a plan. He told his parents that it was okay, since it was only a dog and it never hurt him. Then, Wolfgang bought some chocolate and began feeding it to his neighbor's dog every day after school. After about a week, the dog dropped dead. His neighbors and parents were confused as to what happened, not knowing that Wolfgang had been feeding it chocolate, which is harmful to dogs. The day after their dog died, his neighbors bought a new dog. It turned out that they were training dogs to be aggressive. Still, it's a dark secret that Wolfgang won't ever tell anyone. This story was submitted by Boy I Love Noodles. When saltysquid was younger, he tried to kill himself. He tried to drown himself, and even though his mom was next to him, she didn't do anything beyond telling him to stop being ridiculous. Throughout his life, he had tried to commit suicide around 30 times because of excessive bullying he's had to endure. Another reason why saltysquid was suicidal was because his mom would make him feel like a piece of fat, worthless crap. One time, he took an online test that diagnosed him with depression. When he told his mom about it, she just looked at him and said, "Don't be ridiculous." She finally believed him after getting a call from the principal, saying that saltysquid had tried to kill himself. After that, his mom took him to a professional where he received a proper diagnosis. This story was submitted by, "Oh no, I'm gonna run out of Sid's biggest secret is that he's a lifelong bedwetter. His brain just can't wake him up to go to the bathroom. There have been many times where he's slept over at a friend's house and wet the bed. Whenever that happened, he used paper towels on the wet spot in hope that none of his friends would notice the smell. Sid doesn't know what causes it. Nowadays, he mostly deals with it by not drinking anything before going to bed." This story was submitted by Toxic Mariah. When he was 7, Nixium was playing games on Roblox with his best friend. His phone randomly said Touch ID password, where he could get a bunch of games by entering his ID. So he entered his ID, but little did he know that by doing that, he had spent over $500 of his parents' money. On the night when his parents asked him about it, Nixium pretended to not know anything about it and acted as though they woke him up from a deep sleep. His parents still don't know that it was him who spent over $500 of their money on Roblox games.